Welcome to episode 8. In 1775, the shot heard round the world was fired at Lexington and Concord, and by 1776, a group of men in Philadelphia signed a document that changed everything, the Declaration of Independence. To the young people watching, the words, "All men are created equal," are some of the most hopeful words ever written. But in 1776, those words were a promise, not a finished reality. Today, we look at the war itself, the struggle, the sacrifice, and the complicated truth of a revolution that promised liberty to all, while many remained in chains. We look at this not to be cynical, but to see the beginning of the long, brave work of making those words come true for everyone. Declaration of Independence. When Thomas Jefferson wrote that we have unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, he was setting a new standard for the world. At the time, almost every other country was ruled by kings who claimed they were chosen by God. America was the first to say that power belongs to the people. This was an incredibly hopeful moment. It told every citizen that their life had value because they were human, not because of their title. For the young people today who value justice and equality, this is your origin story. This document gave us the vocabulary of freedom that we are still using to improve our country today. Live reality of the soldier, Valley Forge. The reality of the war was often cold, hungry, and desperate. In the winter of 1777 at Valley Forge, George Washington's army had almost no shoes, very little food, and were ravaged by smallpox. But here is where the hope lies. They stayed. They weren't fighting for a king. They were fighting for each other and for a home that they could call their own. They were a ragtag bunch of farmers, immigrants, and tradespeople who chose to endure a worse time so that we wouldn't have to. Their grit at Valley Forge proves that when humans believe in a shared ideal, they could survive the impossible. The contradiction. African Americans in the Revolution. Here is a complex truth. While the Declaration talked about liberty, there were about 500,000 enslaved African Americans in the colonies. Many saw the Revolution as their own chance for freedom. Thousands of black soldiers fought in the Continental Army, like the 1st Rhode Island Regiment, while others sought freedom by joining the British. James Armistead Lafayette, an enslaved man, served as a double agent for the Americans and provided the intelligence that helped win the final battle at Yorktown. These individuals took the ideal of 1776 and claimed it for themselves, even when the law didn't yet recognize them. They are the true heroes of the American spirit, believing in liberty so much that they fought for a country that hadn't yet fought for them. Role of women. Deborah Sampson. The Revolution also pushed the boundaries of what women could do. While many managed farms and businesses alone, others took the ideal of liberty to the front lines. Deborah Sampson disguised herself as a man to fight in the Continental Army for 17 months. Women were living the reality of the Revolution by proving that courage and patriotism have no gender. Their efforts led to the ideal of Republican motherhood, the belief that women were the essential teachers of civic virtue to the next generation. It was a small step, but it was the start of a long journey towards the equality we strive for today. As we close today, remember that the American Revolution didn't fix everything in 1783 when the war ended. What it did start was a fire. To the young people, you live in the lived reality of those 1776 ideals. We have come so far, abolishing slavery, gaining the vote, and expanding rights because people like you kept holding the country's reality up to its ideals and saying, we can do better. Next Saturday, we'll see how these victorious but exhausted colonies try to build a brand new government from scratch. Until then, keep believing in the stars, keep working on the ground, and stay hopeful.